How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Power 5 here on WagerTalk TV. I am the appropriately named Bryan Power, and as always, I've got you covered this week with who to fade and who to play for Week 11 of the college football season. Can you believe it's already November? I'm selling on one team this week that's in an 0-6 ATS situation. Also, stat of the week, that's going to focus on the lone team that's 9-0 to the over. But first, we start the Power 5, as we always do, by bringing up the WagerTalk.com live odds screen to see how the market is moving. And we're going to focus on just the 4 top 25 matchups this week. Again, 4 games this week where we've got ranked versus ranked. Let's start out with the big one at noon Eastern. Michigan at Penn State. Number 3 Michigan has played absolutely nobody to this point and is embroiled in a cheating scandal. Meanwhile, number 10 Penn State, they've stepped up in class once, and that didn't go well. They lost 20-12 to number 1 Ohio State. But this game is in Happy Valley, and we've seen the number get bet down to plus 4.5 at most shops. So some money is coming in on the Nittany Lions, despite head coach James Franklin's 5-10 ATS mark against teams ranked in the top 5. Moving to the Pac-12, we've got number 5 Washington, still undefeated, hosting number 18 Utah at 3:30 Eastern. The Huskies have been living dangerously of late. There's no doubt about that. They were outgained by 3 straight opponents before holding off USC 52-42 in a wild one last weekend at the Coliseum. Washington did have the total yards edge in that game. Didn't like that result personally. As you know, I had a 5% play on USC. But Utah is a team that has had to navigate their season without quarterback Cam Rising and their star tight end, but still 7-2 straight up. Their 2 losses, though, both by double digits. The Utes lost by 14 at Oregon State, where Washington is next week, and by 29 at home to Oregon, who Washington beat. Yet, we've seen this line move towards the dog as Utah now plus 9 or plus 8.5 after opening plus 9.5. Next to the SEC, where we've got not 1, but 2 top 25 matchups on the docket this week. Let's start number 13, Tennessee, and number 14, Missouri at 3:30 Eastern in Columbia. Now, this is a matchup I broke down in full here on Wager Talk TV in a separate video. You can check out that game preview elsewhere on the channel. I'll link to it in the comment section down below. But right here, I'll let you know that the last 2 years have seen Tennessee hang 128 points and more than 1,400 total yards on this Missouri defense. Not surprisingly, then, we've seen money come in on the Vols this week as a short road favorite. They're up as high as minus 2.5 at Circa, and I've been hearing that is sharp money. Number opened with Tennessee laying just 1. Last but certainly not least, we've got number 10 Ole Miss at number 2 Georgia, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is the first ever meeting between Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart, who of course served together on Nick Saban's staff at Alabama. Looking at the WagerTalk.com odds screen, this line is holding steady, with Georgia still minus 11. That's despite the majority of tickets coming in on the underdog, Ole Miss. So the Rebels do have the feel of a public dog this week. Personally, I thought that spread seemed a bit high, but remember something we've discussed previously on the Power 5, guys. Favorites have tended to dominate these top 25 matchups this season, going 25-7 straight up and 21-10-1 against the spread. So keep that in mind for all 4 matchups I just discussed. Furthermore, when the home team is the favorite in a battle of ranked teams, as is the case with Washington and Georgia this week, you're talking about an 18-2 straight up record and 15-4-1 ATS record for the favorites. Okay, let me know what you think down below in the comments section. If there's any other line move you're interested in, I can discuss it there. I'll be happy to reply at my earliest convenience. By the way, you can currently take $50 off the price of any 30-day all-access pass at WagerTalk.com by using the coupon code ALL30, that's ALL30 at checkout. You head on over to my page, wt.buzz/BP, to take advantage right now, as per usual. Big Saturday college football card, big Sunday NFL card. I already have 5 plays posted for college football Saturday, 4 of them best bets. I'll be giving out 1 at the end of the show with our power play of the week. Please stay tuned. Okay, let's move to our sell high segment. Always trying to find a team that may be priced a little too high or is on an unsustainable run. It's definitely the latter this week with Oklahoma State, who's on a 5-0 straight up and ATS run, coming off a big upset in what could be the final bedlam game for a while. Last week, of course, the Cowboys upset Oklahoma 27-24 as 6-point home underdogs. Now, incredibly, 4 of the Pokes' last 5 wins have come in the underdog role. That run certainly coincides with Mike Gundy's decision to stick with Alan Bowman at quarterback, feature Ollie Gordon at running back. And during this run, though, you have to keep in mind, Oklahoma State has enjoyed tremendous good fortune with both turnovers and fourth down variance. This week, they're going to the bounce house, where UCF has won 37 of its last 43 games. Now, I know the Knights have struggled in their transition to being a Big 12 team, as have all the new Big 12 teams this year. But, okay, they've got John Reese Plumlee back at quarterback, their own bell cow running back, R.J. Harvey to hand it to. Harvey has 4 straight 100-plus yard games, so he can maybe match Gordon here on the ground. Last week, UCF finally getting that elusive first Big 12 win. They beat fellow newbie Cincinnati. But the key for me again here, guys, it's a letdown spot for Oklahoma State. 1-5 straight up and 0-6 against the number the last 6 times they've been off a win over rival Oklahoma. This is just the second time all season that Oklahoma State will check in as a road favorite. UCF, it's only the 3rd time they've been a home dog since 2018. They've covered the previous 2. And Oklahoma State, yes, I know it was a different team back then, but let's not forget they lost in Stillwater 33-7 to South Alabama earlier this year. Sell high on Oklahoma State this week. Moving to the buy low segment, sticking in the Big 12, Kansas is certainly another team that could qualify as a sell high candidate. After all, Jayhawks coming off back-to-back upset victories over Oklahoma and Iowa State. Now, if you're a client of mine, you probably recall that I had KU when they beat Oklahoma for the first time since the late 90s in Lawrence 2 weeks ago. Thinking letdown, I tried fading the Jayhawks last week at Iowa State, but that obviously didn't work out. One of the reasons I was fading Kansas, as I talked about on the show last week, is that Kansas was an underdog in Ames. And going into that game, 12 of the last 15 top 25 teams to be getting points on the road against an unranked opponent had lost the game straight up. So Kansas defied history there. Credit Lance Leipold for having his team avoid the letdown. By the way, there are rumors linking Leipold and Michigan State. Leipold's denied those rumors. That doesn't really necessarily mean anything, but may have that have a effect on his current team moving forward. We shall see. But what I do know is Kansas's opponent this week is Texas Tech, and they're our buy low team. The Red Raiders 4-5 straight up, but they could easily have a better record if not for injuries, turnovers, and just general bad luck. We've seen the Red Raiders lose a double overtime game at Wyoming to open the season. They blew a double-digit fourth-quarter lead at home against Oregon, who right now is playing as well as any team in the country. The Red Raiders outgained Kansas State, lost there. -7 turnover differential combined against WVU and BYU. This week marks just the 2nd time all season that the Red Raiders will close as underdogs. The other time was against Oregon, of course. They're in Lubbock this week. I'm going to take the +3.5 here with Texas Tech as our buy low team. Okay, stat of the week. There's only one team left in the country that is perfect over or under, and that is LSU, who is 9-0 to the over, with those 9 games going over by an average of nearly 2 touchdowns per game, 13.6 points to be exact. Now, thanks to my fellow WagerTalk.com handicapper Ralph Michaels, we know that LSU is just the 3rd team since 2006 to go over the total in 9 consecutive games. For the record, the over-under for this week's game between LSU and Florida, currently up to 64.5. It opens 63.5. You even got one sharper book hanging to 65.5 as of this recording. Now, the last 5 LSU-Florida games have all gone over the total. But before wagering on this one, you're going to want to wait to hear about the status of Tigers quarterback Jaden Daniels, who sustained a concussion, in last week's loss to Alabama. Now, before we wrap up with our power play of the week, I just want to let you know you can follow me on Twitter, now X, of course, at Bryan Power _wins, and make sure you're subscribed to the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Okay, here it is, our power play of the week. We're going to take a look at Wake Forest, who's +2, +2.5 at home against NC State, depending on your book. To me, NC State's a team I'm looking to fade right now. Yes, over the last 2 weeks, they've upset both Clemson, 24-17 as a 10-point dog, and Miami, 20-6 as a 6.5-point dog. Couple things to note, though. Both those games were in Raleigh. This week, the Wolfpack head down Tobacco Road to face Wake Forest. How has NC State performed on the road, you ask, recently? How about 0-3 ATS this season, 3-10 ATS since the start of 2021, and that includes 2-5 when favored. Furthermore, in NC State's upset wins over Clemson and Miami, they were outgained both times. Meanwhile, Wake Forest, they had a 400 to 267 total yards edge in their loss last Thursday to Duke. That was a game the Demon Deacons never trailed until the Blue Devils kicked the game-winning field goal with triple zeros on the clock. This is Wake's last home game, and they need to win it if they want to become bowl eligible because they've still got a game against Notre Dame looming. 2 extra days to prepare here. A great run defense. Give me the Demon Deacons. Oh, by the way, NC State has to go back to the previously benched Brennan Armstrong at quarterback because MJ Morris has opted the redshirt. So one more time, Wake Forest plus 2.5 is your power play of the week, and that does it for the Power 5 for Week 11 of the college football season. Again, check me out on Twitter at @BryanPower_wins. Make sure you're subscribed to that WagerTalk YouTube channel. Leave me a comment down below, and feel free to smash that like button if you liked what you heard today. I'll be dropping the NFL version of the Power 5 shortly. Until then, let's cash some tickets.